metatauta edon, allon angelon, katapainonta ektu uranu. After these things I saw another angel coming down out of the sky, ekonta exousian megalern, having great authority, kai höger eportister, ecters toxer sautu, and the earth was lighted out of its glory. Kai ekraxen en iskurai ponöj legon. And he cried out in a strong voice, saying, Epesen, Epesen, Babylon her megala, fallen, fallen is the great Babel. Kai egeneto katoi kerterion daimonion. And it has become a dwelling place, an abode of demons. Kai pulaka pantos pneumatos akataratu, and a prison of every unclean spirit. Kai pulaka pantos oreneu akataratu kai memisa menu, and the prison of every unclean and hated bird. Hoti ektu oinu tu tumu tes pornea sautes pepokan pantata etne. For out of the wine of the passion or wrath of her fornication, all the nations have fallen. Kai hoi basileus tes kes metautes eporneusen, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her. Kai hoemporoi tes kes, and the merchants of the earth ectes dynameos tu strenus autes eplutesan. The merchants of the earth, out of the power of her luxury, were enriched. Kai sa ellen pornern ektu uranu legusan. And I heard another voice out of the sky saying, Exceltate, holaosmu. Come ye out, my people. Exaltus, out of her, hinamer synkoinonesete. Dais hamaratiai saltus, so that you do not co-partner with her sins. Gaekton blurgon autus hinamer laberte. And of her plagues, so that ye shall not receive. Hoti ekolurtus anautus hai hamaratia sacritud uranu. For joined together, accumulated of her are the sins unto the sky. Kai emnemoneusen hoteos ta adikermata autus, and the God hath remembered her unrighteousnesses, her misdeeds. Apodote aute hos kai aute apedoken. Render to her as she also rendered. Kai diplosate ta dipla katata erga autes, and the double according to her works. Entoi poterioi hoi ekerasen, kerasate autei diplun, in the cup which she mingled to her double. hossa edoksasen, autön kai eströniasen. As much as she glorified herself and became luxurious, tosuton, tote autoi basanismon, kai pentos. So much give to her of torment and mourning. Hoti entoi gardia autos lege hoti katermai basilissa. Kai kera ukemi, kai pentos ume ido. That in her heart she is saying that I am sitting a queen, and a widow I am not. And mourning I shall not see. I should not see. Dia tutto en miai hermerai herxusin hyplurgai autus. Through this in one day shall come her plagues, thanatos, kai pentos, kai limos, death and mourning and famine, kai en puri katakautersetai, and in fire she shall be burned. Hoti iskuros kurios hoteos, hokrinas autern. For Yahweh the God, the one judging her, is strong. Kai klaususin, kai kopsontai epautern, hoi basiles, tes kös met hoi metautes porneusantes, kai ströniasantes, hotan bleposin, ton kapnon tes pyroseos auters. And the kings of the earth, those having committed sexual sin with her and having become luxurious, shall cry and shall beat in mourning, beat the chest perhaps, shall mourn when they be seeing the smoke of her burning. Apumakroten hesterkotes, diaton popon tu basanismu autes legontes. Uai, her polis, her megale Babylon, her polis, her iskura, hoti miai, horai, ölten her krisisu. From afar, having stood through the fear of her torment, saying, Woe, woe! The city, the great city, Babel, the city, the strong city, that in 1 hour has come thy judgment. Kai hoiemporoi tes kers klaiusin kai pentusin epautern, and the merchants of the earth are crying and mourning upon her, over her. Hotiton gomon auton ude sagoradze uketi. That the cargo of them, nobody is buying anymore. Gomon grusun, kai argurun, kai litu, timiu, kai margariton, kai businu, kai porpuras, kai siriku, kai kokinu, kai pan, xylon, tuion, kai pas, skeuos, elapantinon, kai pan, skeuos, exylu, timiotatu, kai kalku, kai sideru, kai maramaru. Ooh. Cargo of gold and silver and precious stone and pearls and linen and purple and silk and scarlet and every tree of thyine, all thyine wood, and every vessel of ivory of elephant, and every vessel of honored wood, and brass, and iron, and marble. Kei Kinnamomon, kei Amomon, kei Tumiamata, kei Muron, kei Libanon, kei Oinon, kei Elaion, kei Semidalin, kei Siiton, kei Kterne, kei Probata, kei Hippon, kei Redon, kei Somaton, kei Psykas, Anthropon, and cinnamon, and spice, and incense, and ointment, and frankincense, and wine, and oil, and fine flour, and wheat, and cattle, and sheep, and horses, and chariots, and bodies, and souls of men. Kai her aporasu, tes epitumias, tes psykers, apelten apotsu, kai panta, ta lipara, kai ta lampra, apolonto aposu, kai uketi ume auta heurasusin. And the fruits of you, the fruits of thee, thy fruits of the desire of the soul are gone from thee, and all the delicate things and the bright shining things are perished from thee, and no longer, certainly not, they shall find them. Hoi emporoi tuuton, hoi plutus antes sapautus. The merchants of these, those being enriched from her, apo makroten störsontai, diaton pobon tu basanismu hauters, glaiontes kai bentusin. From afar they shall stand through the fear of her torment, crying and weeping, crying and weeping. Legontes, uai, uai, her polis, her megale, her peribeble mene, pyssinon, kai porpurun, kai kokkinon, kai ke cruso mene, en crusoi, kai litoi, timioi, kai margaritoi, hotimiai, horai, remote, hotosutos, plutos, saying, Woe, woe, the great city, the one being clothed in linen and purple and scarlet, and being engoldened in gold and precious stone and pearl, that in 1 hour is perished, such wealth, is ruined such wealth. Kai pas kubernetes, kai pas ho epitopon pleon, kai nautai, kai hosoi tön talassan ergazontai apo makroten hestersan, and every shipmaster, pilot, and everyone upon the place, everyone according to place, sailing, and sailors, and as many work the sea, from afar they stood. Kai ekradzon plepontes ton kapnon tes buroseo sautes legontes. And they cried, saying, and they are crying, they were crying, seeing the smoke of her fire, saying, of her burning, saying, who is like, what is like to this to the great city? Kai ebalon kun epitas kepala sauton, and they threw dust upon their heads. Kai ekradzon klaiontes kai pentusin, and they cried out, crying and mourning. Legontes, uai, her polis, her megala, saying, woe, woe, the great city, and her Eplutesan pantes hoi ekontes ta ploia en tei talasei ectes timiote tosautes hotimiai horai remote in by which or in which those having the ships were made rich, those having the ships in the sea, from her preciousness. For in 1 hour she is ruined. Euprainu epautei urane, rejoice upon her heavens, sky, kai hoi hagioi, kai hoi apostoloi, kai hoi propertai, and the saints and the sent ones and the prophets, hoti ekrinen hoteos, to krima humon exautes, for the God hath judged her punishment, her judgment upon her, your judgment upon her. Kai euren hes angelos iskuros liton hos mulon megan kai epalen stern talassan legon hutos horme mati blöte setai Babylon her megalopolis kai heuretei eti. And one strong messenger lifted up a stone as a millstone, a great millstone, and threw into the sea, saying, thus with this impulse shall be thrown Babel the great city, and shall certainly not be found anymore. Kai porner gitaroidon, and the voice of harpers, kai musikon, and music, kai aulerton, and flute players, kai salpiston, and trumpeters, akuster ensoi eti, shall certainly not be heard in thee anymore. Kai pas technites, passes, technes, and every craftsman of whatever craft, heureter ensoi eti, shall not be found in you, certainly not anymore. Kai porner mulo, and the voice of a mill, akuster ensoi eti, and the voice of a mill shall certainly not be heard in thee anymore. Kai pos luknu panei ensoi eti, and the light of a lamp shall certainly not shine in thee anymore. Kai porner numpiu, kai numpers, akuster ensoi eti, and the voice of a bridegroom and a bride shall certainly not be found in thee anymore. Hoti hoi emporoisu, san hoi megistanes, skers, for the merchants of thee, thy merchants were the great ones of the earth. Hoti entoi parmakiai su, eplaner san pantata etner, that because in the sorcery of thee they deceived all the nations. They were deceived. All the nations were deceived. Kai enautoi haima properton, kai hagion heurete, kai panton ton espagmenon epiters curse, and in her the blood of prophets and of holy ones was found, and of all those slain upon the earth. Here endeth Revelation chapter 18. Thank you for listening. Praise be to Yahweh. The end is coming for Babel the Great.